Doctors, Puneet, what is Panchakarma? So who would like to begin? It's a very broad question, by the way.
That's true. It's actually more than half of what treatment comprises of in Ayurveda. So I'd like to begin answering this question. Now, when we started studying Ayurveda, every word or every term that you have in Sanskrit, we used to always find the root meaning of that word, and from there the definition of it starts. So basically, Panchakarma is nothing but five pancha and karma actions that can be performed on the body as a line of treatment. Now, loosely, you can translate this as the cleansing therapy or a detoxifying therapy that is administered to patients. And these are of five different types, but more on that later. So there are a certain set of signs and symptoms that certain patients, if at all they display them, then they are said to be suitable for panchakarma. So having said that, it's not something that is essentially done for everyone. However, we do also have the concept of seasonal cleansing, in which we advise certain panchakarma therapies depending on your body constitution to you as a mode of cleansing or resetting your body for the upcoming period or the change of seasons.
Kajal?
Right. So, as Yuga said, there are 5 procedures that we can do to address different ailments depending upon the doshas. So, if it was Vata, we would go for a treatment called Basti, which is enema. If it is Kapha, we would go for a treatment by name Vamana, which is emesis or we induce vomiting with medications. And then if it is Pitta, we do purgation, which is Virechana. So, based on the doshas involved, we adapt one of these 5 therapies. But having said that, people are not fully aware of what Panchakarma is. Panchakarma is always related, or people think of it as massage or something related to a spa activity, which is absolutely wrong. So whenever you tell a patient you'll have to do Panchakarma, they'll say, okay, how many days massage do I have to do, or Shirodhara, and they do not understand the depth of the treatment and how it is done. So that is one thing I find common in all patients, that they don't know what Panchakarma is.
So it's a medical treatment, right? It's not
Yes.
a regular spa massage, right?
No.
So it should not be taken, or you shouldn't go for a Panchakarma treatment just because you felt like it or you heard about it.
Exactly. So most patients, they self-prescribe and say, I'm going to do a Panchakarma. And sometimes they impose the doctor saying, I want to do Panchakarma. So even though it's not necessary, many people say, no, I want to do it. Because I think it's become a trend, and if you do a Panchakarma, among your circle, you're cool and you've done a Panchakarma detox, but it's not easy. It's a very complex and a very difficult, and it's very time consuming. You have to do it for at least 21 days. There's nothing called a 3-day Panchakarma, 5-day Panchakarma, 7 days. That's just, I think, a marketing package or a PR package. But proper Panchakarma takes 21 days, and it's a lot of work, both from the patient side as well as the physician side.
Right. Puneet, you have actually had a Panchakarma treatment, is that correct?
Yes, actually 4.
Oh, okay, 4 of them. So what has been your experience with it, and like why were you prescribed it in the first place?
So it was during one of the consultations, I actually wanted to go for a retreat. And in my quest for finding such a retreat, which is, calm, peaceful, let me spend 3-4 weeks there, I actually ended up doing a doctor consultation. And then he said that, okay, you come here and only then I can advise you on what, how long should you stay here. And that is how, I went through my first Panchakarma, which was not technically Panchakarma because it was actually for 2 weeks, not 3 weeks. Because I was kind of scared after the consultation on what we have to go through. So I said that I will spend 2 weeks only, though I was prepared that, had it been a holiday, I would have spent 3 weeks. But yeah, so to add to, I don't have anything technically to add to what the doctor said, but this is, how I see Panchkarma is, when you take the car to the service center for an overhauling, right? And you don't do it every time. You don't do it every day. You don't do it every month. You do it probably once during the year. It is not a car spa. It is a car overhauling, right? And there's a clear difference. Somebody who's looking for pampering, Panchkarma is definitely not pampering. Definitely not, a very, I won't scare you, but it is something.
What scared you? What scared you about it when you first what it would take?
So what scared me was, frankly, the enema, which I've never been through. And since I did not go through it, if somebody talks about the enema, then I would, you would be a little jittery about it. But then once you have the enema, it is actually a very, what do you call it, rejuvenative and, refreshing, refreshing after a certain while. But yeah.
Right. And doctors, have you had like what can go wrong if you go do a Panchakarma? Of course, any responsible Ayurvedic clinic or retreat won't let you do it without a prescription. But what can happen if you do go through it when you don't need it? Like, are there any ill effects that can happen if you insist on going through a Panchakarma treatment without needing it?
Yeah, so if you're healthy and your doshas are balanced, it doesn't make sense to do detox because it may affect the balance of the doshas and it will cause an imbalance and you will have health issues. Like, say, if your vata is spiked up, you may have bloating or your appetite might go down or you may feel restless. Or if your kapha dosha goes up, then you'll feel very lethargic. So, unless and until required, if you do it, it will definitely cause imbalances in your body. So unnecessary detox is not advisable. But there are other treatments for that. So if you're healthy, you can go through rejuvenative therapies like rasayana-based therapies, but not a panchakarma.
Right. And as a beginner, like, what often happens is I read an ad on Instagram for a retreat and it says Panchakarma retreat and things like that. Right. So that is how a lot of people get even exposed to Ayurvedic retreats when they see these ads online. So Panchakarma, like you said, is not the best way to dip your toes into Ayurvedic therapies. Are there any beginner-friendly therapies that you don't need a prescription of a doctor for?
Yeah, so before Panchakarma, there are a few treatments like your Abhyanga or your full body massages, Shirodhara, Nasya. These things essentially, sorry, not Nasya, only Abhyanga and Shirodhara. These things essentially help prepare your body if you are, going to be taking a Panchakarma treatment. However, these can also be administered for people who are naturally healthy and don't require Panchakarma treatments. When it comes to Nasya, there's something called as Pratimarsha Nasya, which literally anybody can do, even if it's generally for betterment of health and not only for curing any particular disease. And that is something that anyone can do. It's just as simple as putting 2 drops of a suitable oil early in the morning when you wake up, and followed by a little bit of steaming around the face area. So yeah, Rasayan treatment, as Dr. Kajal rightly said, is also something that can be administered as a form of prevention and rejuvenation if Panchakarma is not an option.
Right. Kajal, anything to add there?
No, I think we've covered.
Puneet, any questions you have that I may have missed?
No, one thing that immediately, struck me and I wanted to share this was that, you would, all over the internet, you will see one typical image of an Ayurvedic spa, right? A bowl hanging in on top of your head, on top of your forehead, and something dripping, which is oil dripping on your forehead. Now that is called dhara. And Shirodhara or Takradhara or, different types of dhara with different liquids, that's also a very serious treatment. Some people consider it a spa. We'll go to the spa, we'll have this oil dripping on our forehead, but it really puts you in an emotional frenzy, as I could see myself. And my dhara, during my Panchakarma, my dhara days are actually when I have a lot of these emotional roller coaster kind of time. So I just wanted to share that because, a lot of people think that a lot of these procedures are very easy peasy.
Great. Thank you for that.